AITA for telling my sister to stop being a child and get a life. I, 37F, am a GP, general practitioner for the non-Brits here. It is a firm rule of mine that I do not handle any medical situations for family and friends outside of extreme emergencies, as we are supposed to avoid any medical treatment for those close to us. Normally I can stick to this rule, which is a good thing, means no emergencies have happened. However, this morning my cousin called me worried about if she should take her 3-month-old son to the hospital, not wanting to go if it was nothing, and while I'd normally tell her to play it safe, I live a couple of minutes away, so I just drove over. He was fine, he just has a cold. I instructed her on how to care for him and what signs to look out for. This made the rounds in the family as she posted it on Facebook laughing about her earlier worry, and my older sister saw it. She called me and began to berate me about how I was fine going to help our cousin, but when her 8-year-old daughter's throat was sore and she had a fever, I didn't go check and help. I pointed out that I'd brought my niece books and visited her, but no, I didn't medically check her as she's not a baby and my sister is definitely not a concerned new parent. My sister, being the understanding and patient woman that she is, told me that it was the principle of the matter and it showed that I didn't care for my niece. I told her to stop being a child, and if nothing else this showed how much I do care for my niece. I then told my sister she is acting like a bigger baby than our cousin's son and she needed to get a life. I feel bad for snapping like this, but I hate how she questioned if I care for my niece, because I adore that girl. The two situations to my mind are very different, but perhaps I should have been more patient all the same. AITA for taking another partner while in an open relationship with my wife. I, 32M, have been married to my wife, 29F, for the past 6 years. In the early years of our marriage and when we were dating, we had a very close relationship. There were constant affectionate gestures, romantic trips, and date nights. However, things started to feel different around our 4th anniversary. Never had our relationship felt strained, but she started to act distant. She would wake up in the morning, go straight to work, come home for lunch and take a nap, go back to work, come home, cook dinner, and then go straight to bed. We only would talk during dinner, and even then she didn't always talk to me. After about 6 months of that behavior, I started to take it really personally. I thought maybe I had done something wrong and was being punished for it, but that didn't seem in her character. For most issues, she was always the type of person to confront anyone who she had an issue with. It started to really weigh on me, and I think she began to notice. One day, she sat down for dinner with a piece of paper covered in writing. She started off by saying how much she loved me, but she couldn't keep this hidden for any longer. She revealed to me that she's a lesbian, and she's been seeing a girl from college for the past year behind my back. I knew the girl, and I've seen her in our home several times, but I never imagined that could be happening. She said she still loved me and wanted to remain married, but she didn't want the moral distress of cheating. She proposed we label it an open relationship so she could still see her lover and remain married to me. It was a lot to take in, and I told her I would have to think about it. I agreed, but I didn't plan on seeing anyone else. I loved my wife and I would never forgive myself if I went out with another girl. My wife is the only woman for me. Fast forward 2 years to about 2 weeks ago and I haven't heard much about her lover in a while. I spend my Saturdays at a bar downtown, and while I'm there, I meet a gorgeous woman. She was around my age and looked like she was straight from a magazine. We began talking, and after a little bit she convinced me to go back to her place. The next morning, I texted my wife and told her everything. When I came home she was a mess. She immediately started screaming about how I was a terrible man, a terrible husband, and an overall terrible person for cheating on her. I was taken aback, seeing as I had no emotional connection to the woman. I reminded her that she was seeing another woman with whom she had a deep bond with for over a year, but that made her even more upset, yelling about how she hadn't talked to her in months, which I didn't know. She told me that she's considering divorce because of that breach of her trust, but she's the one who suggested the open relationship. I've been sleeping in the guest bedroom since I came home that night, but AITA? AITA for uninviting my sil to my daughter's birthday. I, 35F, and husband 37M have a 12-year-old daughter who turned 13 in 3 weeks. My husband and I rented a cabin by a lake and sister-in-law invited herself and her fiancé, which is fine BC, we usually spend birthdays with them anyways. Her and her fiancé and my husband were talking in the phone and it was on speaker. I said hello and joined in the convo and they asked me what my daughter likes, and as I was talking saying she likes cash, Apple Pay money to buy stuff from TikTok shop, she starts saying why does she need money? Invest for her, y'all only teach her short term. To which I laugh because she doesn't know what we do or how we spend. And I said, you asked what she wants, and I answered. Her fiancé said something like, the girl wants cash, and mind you we were all speaking in a joking manner. It wasn't a serious conversation, My SIL says no, she's bad. And that where I got upset. And I responded with, excuse me, how would you know? We live 10 hours away from each other, and when we go to vacation we don't spend too much time with them because we do kid-friendly activities and they don't have children, so we tend to hang out with cousins and family with kids in the same age group. Me and her fiancé have a good relationship, we understand each other very well, and I think GE noticed my tone because he changed the convo and took it back to humor. So I left the room and let them finish the conversation. The next day I was still angry and told my husband to talk to his sister or I would. He said I was overreacting and that he would talk to her, and I pointed out that she needs to mind her place. For one, she doesn't spend any quality time with Stacy, our daughter, to know if she's well behaved or not. 2, she assumes she knows best when she doesn't have children. 3. She laughed when you said we're working on giving her chores, as if she knows what goes on in our house. FYI, Stacy has responsibilities that to some consider chores, of feeding her pets, cleaning her room and bathroom and her laundry, etc. My husband didn't talk to his sister, so I called her and told her she is wrong in her assumptions and we don't need to tell her anything that goes on. And I don't appreciate her saying my child is bad, and since she feels we are horrible parents and my daughter is bad, it would be best if she didn't celebrate her B-Day with us, to which she didn't say anything and we just hung up. AITA for not going to a family dinner. BC, my best friend is leaving for 6 months. I am 22 and my best friend got accepted into an exchange program to go study overseas, USA, for half a year. She's planning to leave next Thursday, August 22nd, so she can have time to settle down and get ready before starting classes at the end of August. BC of work, I haven't been able to see her that much because our schedules never matches, except for Tuesday, August 20th, where she's planning a little party with all of our close friends and we're gonna have a sleepover to spend her last night together. Her flight is in the middle of Wednesday night. We are very close, and ever since I moved away from home for my studies 3 years ago, we have been extremely complimentary and she became one of the most important person in my life, so I can't imagine not seeing her before she leaves. My problem is, my family is always hosting a big dinner at the end of August, and everybody is expected to attend, except for very particular reasons. Since I live far away from my family, it requires me to stay there for at least 2 days, because I want to spend time with everyone while I can and to make the trip profitable and worth it. Because it's kind of expensive. And you guessed it, the dinner this year is planned on August 20th. To me, at first the choice was easy because I can see my close family quite regularly. I will miss out on my aunts and some cousins if I don't come, but we can still catch up later. And I announced to everyone that wasn't coming, while explaining why. And reactions weren't really understanding. Almost everybody assumed that I didn't care about my family since I wanted to choose a simple friend over them. And many of them reacted by saying that I was just looking for an excuse or disrespecting my grandmother, who was very disappointed to hear that I wasn't coming. Only my mom understood and said that I should go to my friend's party because she knows how close we are, but now I feel really bad and guilty knowing that everyone in my family thinks I'm selfish and is trying to make me feel bad. On the other side, I know that my friend would be extremely sad if I didn't came to her party, and I totally get her. Would I still be the A** hole for not coming to the family dinner? AITA for not inviting my brother's girlfriend as my +1. I have a job in social media for fashion. I get perks like sample sales, but I'm a size 12, so there's very few things I can buy. I also sometimes get gifted designer items like purses or promo items. Since it is my job, I'm actually sick of discussing fashion, and since I WFH, I have a couple of nice items in case I have a work lunch or something, or I might rent clothes, but my own stuff isn't flashy. My boyfriend's new girlfriend Anna is one of those people that thinks you post LV on something, it makes it couture. She has this insane idea that she sees my Instagram, remember rent clothes for events, that I have money and I can invite her to these events and sample sales. There was a sample sale and my mom asked me about it and I told her I wasn't planning on going. I would have her go as my +1 if she wanted, but mom said the date and time didn't work for her. My mom is classy and had a job in advertising. My mom got me the in on my current industry. She knows how to act. My brother's girlfriend is not one of those people I would want around my peers because many of them would be there. I barely tolerate her and I told her that this is a work event for me, so I take my mom because she has worked in the industry. My Anna thinks that the Kardashians and stuff like that are high fashion, or putting logos on a bag is classy. This isn't the event for her. Even on sale, these are not clothes I could afford or fit into, and mom and I go for the cheaper accessories and maybe mingle for job security. Because let's face it, with layoffs, everyone in marketing and advertising, everyone is on edge. I told Anna maybe another one, and this event isn't just open to everyone. My mom saw what was going on and she said how she already has an in on this sample sale and that's why she could go. Anna and my brother tried arguing with me and my mom and I said no. Anna can't go. My mom went as far saying Anna clearly doesn't know how to be gracious since she has to argue when someone says no. Anna stormed off calling us gatekeeping bitches, directed at both me and my mom, and my brother thinks we should apologize to her and I refuse to, citing to my brother this is exactly why I would never invite Anna anywhere.
AITA for splitting my family up? Hi. My 17F family has been split and I feel I am the root of the problem. Last year in October, I joined a homeschooling center and I made my first ever friends there. I haven't had real friends before, so therefore have no experience in friends, and my autism makes that harder. This is relevant. I had fun with these friends for a month, and then by the end of December, everything fell apart. I never drank or smoked or anything of the kind before, and with these new friends, they got me into vaping. We had arranged a sleepover at the one friend's house, and it was me, LKA, and MM as my younger cousin who introduced me to the other girls, and I saw Madison as another sister to me. That evening, us five walked down to the shop, and because I was the oldest, I was told to buy 2 bottles of Smirnoff for the night. I was blinded by having new friends, and I didn't want to lose them, so I just did what they told me to do. I went and bought the stuff alone and met up with the others after, and we headed back. We spent the rest of the night vaping and laughing and drinking. I had 2 half shots. The others got wasted, and I was getting uncomfortable. Lots of photos and videos were taken, but luckily I chose not to be in any of them, which I'm glad I did. I put my headphones on around 2 a.m. and went to sleep. The next week or so was fine until my cousin M came to me about her being emotionally abused in her house of 6 kids. Her mother is a massive narcissist who keeps saying yes to fostering kids when she's already fostering 5 and they have no money because of the mother. My cousin said she was slapped across the face more than once by her mother, which was later confirmed. I went to my mother about this and she took over. M's parents were called over to my house and they started screaming at my parents about believing their daughter's lies over theirs. And they took my cousin out of the house and sent a voice note on our family group after they left stating that they are no longer a part of the family. And they also said that my cousin M told them that it was all me. I made up everything and made her go along with it. I was shocked and couldn't believe that happened. 2 days later, I was awoken at 7 in the morning to my parents being very upset. They told me that my cousin M told her mother about the sleepover, and my cousin M had told the story in the completely wrong way, making me out to be the bad guy, and any photos taken that sleepover that were faceless were identified as me when they weren't. I lost my friends because of all this that happened and got in a lot of trouble. All of this happened because I was not thinking, and it ended up in me splitting apart my family. So, AITA. Note, I know that I didn't write this well, but I tried. AITA for poisoning my roommate? Someone has been eating my food. I live with 3 other girls. Between us all, we share 2 fridges. This is because 2 of us have no peanut allergy, and the other 2 do have a peanut allergy. I, F21, make curries pretty much every other day. I leave leftovers in the fridge because I like to eat it throughout the week. I have been noticing for the past month that someone has been taking at least half of my leftovers and have attempted to cover it up as if I wouldn't notice. I asked everyone if anyone is eating my food. Everyone declined. I asked the girl I share a fridge with if she has been taking my stew, and she said no. I'm a lot closer with her, so I believe her. We are the ones who do not have the peanut allergy, so I knew it must be one of the other 2 girls. It has been a few weeks. No one has eaten my food, I assume, and decided I was going to make a peanut chicken stew and put some leftovers in the fridge. One of my roommates wake up with hives in the middle of the night. Her face is completely swollen and she is itching her entire body. She asked if I put peanuts in my stew and I said yes. She is clearly the one who has been eating my leftovers without permission. She then proceeds to accuse me of poisoning her when I gave her no permission to eat my food. I told her I never gave her permission to eat my food and that we have separate fridges to avoid this from happening. She is coughing and wheezing, and my other roommate calls an ambulance. She is fine. When she initially told me that she had a peanut allergy, she told me it was nothing serious, just a few itches and swelling. Her dad is a police officer, and he came over the same day and also accused me of purposefully poisoning her and said they will file a police report. Thing is, if she asked for my leftovers, I would have told her she is welcome to have some, rather than her eating it behind my back. And for this instance, I would have obviously told her there were peanuts in the stew, and this would all have been avoided. I'm not sure what claim the police will have against me.